Bonjour. Hello. I hope everyone's okay. You had a nice weekend, a nice Father's Day celebration. Was that this weekend? It's so much stuff going on. I'm fresh out of dad's, so I kind of lose track of that one sometimes. So a lot of stuff is happening. In case you were wondering, I am firmly against this attack on LA. I am firmly against activating the Marines to come in and take on U.S. citizens. I am firmly against they're knocking down and arresting public officials, politicians. It's not just Padilla. We're in a bad place. And we're in a bad place. And there's some sneaky bullshit going on. And if you were proud of the job that you were doing, you wouldn't need to cover your face with a mask, because let's be real, you probably didn't wear a mask when they were mandated during the pandemic. So now you're just hiding your face because on some level they know they should be ashamed of what they're doing. And if you're arresting somebody, you should have the paperwork to back up the arrest. You should be able to say why you're doing the arrest. The person being arrested has the right to be silent, but not the arresting person. Now, I do know that the police are not obligated to tell the truth. That was a Supreme Court decision. That just extra reason why you should maintain your silence. I don't want to spend any more time talking about it. If you think that what's going down is okie dokes with you, this isn't the place for you. This is not the channel to be visiting. And I wish you all the best. But this is a bad state of affairs. And we're on the hairy edge of another war in the Middle East. Frankly, living in Los Angeles, I feel like we're in a domestic war. We are having a civil war moment. I don't know if you call it civil war, because it's not the civils against the civils. It's the dictatorial regime against the blue states and the sanctuary cities, because it bothers him. And I saw that Pete Hegseth trying to claim paltry victories, and he said that he was working on securing the southern border. And I immediately thought, you mean the brown border? Are you not securing the northern border? Do we not have borders on the north and the south? No, because you're not wound up about white people. You're wound up about brown people. All right, we're not going to do this. This is the second time I've tried to record this, and I lost my shit. I just lost it. And that's not why I started this channel. I don't want to throw more gas on that fire. I'm going to make choices for myself. I'm not asking anybody else to make choices, but I will resist. And that's where I am. It's what's going on is wrong. Yeah. Plain and simple. So, I will say, I did have a very adorable thing. Well, disgusting and adorable thing happened this weekend. I stopped by my friend's house, and they have a couple little boys. One of them is 2.5. It was very hot, so it was the right choice for him to be stark naked. Very pleased with himself. And then at one point, he took a cracker and zipped it through the crack of his ass, like he was running his city card at the gas pump. Like he's gonna get a reading off the magnetic strip. Bloop. I guess he wanted to see if a cracker would fit in his crack. And I was so... it's such a weird thing to see. I had to ask, did you just put a cracker up your butt? Yeah. Okay, but now you can't eat that cracker. And then he was going to eat it, so to defy me. So I grabbed that cracker real quick. Like, do you know what happens when you eat food that's been up your butt? Weirdest sentence I've said in a while. It's never thought I would string those words together. And when I told him it would make you sick, he accepted that. And then we moved on, and it was time to turn on the sprinklers and run naked through the sprinklers. There's a lot about being 2.5 that's really, really rough. You have no autonomy. You don't know anything. You have a small vocabulary. But on the upside, you have unbridled natural curiosity. So you put your crackers up your butt. And you're fearless. You run through those sprinklers. And unashamed. Completely naked. Completely confident. It's fun watching a little human blossom and grow into this world. It's nice. So I was thinking, for me, I'm very pleased when I can learn something new. That's part of what this experiment is about. I want to hone my skills, learn some new things, do some new things. I'm very excited about that. And probably because of his Father's Day, I was thinking about my dad. And he was 81 years old. And he was on on his deathbed. And we were in Washington, and at the time, recreational pot was legal there. It was not in California. And I realized we could smoke a little pot. So I came home from a grocery store run and made the announcement, we're going to get Mom high. My brother and I went down to the pot store, and I gave the parameters, what I was looking for. Something that had high giggle factor, that didn't have a long duration in case being high was uncomfortable. No paranoia. Just quick burst of fun. So she sent me home with a little vape pen of a strain called Tarantula. And my mother kept correcting me. No, it's called Tarantella. I'm like, no, it's not. It's called Tarantula. And how could something that was so funny and so fun be named after this horrifying spider? And then I had to break it to her that Tarantella is Italian for tarantula. She had one hit. I was laughing so hard she was going to pee her pants. And the problem was she was in one of those electric reclining chairs. So to get out of the chair, it was like, could not have gone slower. And that just made it funnier. And eventually we got her up out of the chair, and she got to the bathroom, and everything was fine. But it was hilarious. And Dad, here he is, 81 years old, and he's making the transition out of this life into the next one. And I had to teach him how to hit a vape. Don't hit too hard, it'll make you cough. Hit a little bit. Don't puff it out so fast. You gotta puff it, hold it a little bit, and then puff it out. And he followed the instructions. And then whoa, that's fast. And the last sentence he said, the last full sentence was, we're having a party. And he was gone the next day. Less than 24 hours, and he learned something new. So I took that as a great encouragement that up until your last hours on this planet, you can be learning something new. And I hope you do. I hope I do. Take up the guitar, learn a new language, go to a cooking class, learn how to edit videos. So we're in a very weird zone. We're all learning something new about ourselves, about our country, about our neighbors and friends and relatives. What will they tolerate and what won't they tolerate? What are you doing, buddy? How you doing, buddy? That guy said to me, keep your eyes on the road. And that's why, that kind of nonsense. The guy just sort of stopped and straddled two lanes and looked like he was going to pull over, but he's blocking somebody's driveway. sometimes it's complicated. Driving in LA is no joke. That's for sure. And I think some of it is weird simply because it's so multicultural. You've got people from all over the world and they navigate differently. I think one of the interesting things I learned was the way you think is determined in large part by the first language you learned. And it will create the logic structures that you think with for the rest of your life. So even if you learn a completely different language, you will, even if you become fluent, the way you think through things will always be rooted in the structure of your first language. An American, what's wrong with me? English is a Germanic language, and so it has a lot of specificity. It's structured very differently from the Romance languages, and so there can be a harshness to the way that it's a little brutal. I mean, the Germans are the ones who have terms like Schadenfreude, joy at somebody else's misgiving. That squeaky tank. That squeaky tank gives me Schadenfreude. I mean, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that that parade was an embarrassment. The purpose of the parade, the birthday party for that McDonald Trump, what a jerk. But he got a squeaky tank. That's what you get. And the sloppy marching, I interpret as a deliberate choice on the part of the soldiers, and I support them in that because they were ordered to go there and do this weird thing that we only see in totalitarian governments, and we're not a totalitarian government. Well, for now. So, yeah. I hope the fever dream comes to an end soon. It's just not fun to watch this. It really isn't. And I'm not that excited about J.D. Vance either. He's quiet. He's just letting everybody else embarrass themselves. He'll embarrass himself too soon enough. He's I've heard people call him an intellectual. And when I worked at USC, I was surrounded by PhDs. And what I can tell you about PhD people is they know a lot about one thing, but that doesn't mean they know a lot about everything. And some of them don't know that. They think, oh, I have a PhD, I can do what I want. I know everything. No. There are a lot of really dumb, smart people out there. So, yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. I don't know. Today was a very weird day. I know I said I was going to do the video on Monday, but my client moved the appointment because he wanted to surf. Why not? Why not? The weather's beautiful. It's perfect. And if I could surf, I would surf. I'm not a surfer. But if you're a surfer, I hope you get to enjoy some beautiful surf. Yeah. Although now I think about it, I could have gone yesterday anyway, because I didn't see him today either. Everything's just a little scrambled right now. My routine is completely crazy, and as a result, I have to improvise a little more. And I think it's good when you get shaken out of your routine. So there's a book by Stephen Pressfield called The War of Art, and it's all about being an artist, but also resisting all the excuses we use to not do the art. And then there's another book called Turning Pro, which I just got, and I randomly flip. I don't go page by, because some of them are like, some of the chapters are a paragraph long, and the first one I came across today was that the definition of boring, and that he ties it to the notion of addiction, and that addiction is designed to keep you in a cycle that doesn't let you grow, doesn't let you learn. It just keeps you stuck in a loop. And when you're in a loop, that's boring. And I have to say, I feel like I've let my routine get a little boring. And it does. It allows you to check out and just kind of same day, same thing. And that's not who I am. That's not the life I want to live. Oh my God, we got double Waymos. I've not tried a Waymo. One of my friends was laughing because he follows the Waymo Instagram, and I guess it films passengers and their weird reactions to the Waymo. And what I've come to understand is Waymo is very available in the city. It's not available in the valley. And one of the big purposes is because it's hard to find parking, especially if you're like going through K-Town. Forget it. There is no parking in Koreatown. None. But if you need to go somewhere in that vicinity, just get a Waymo. That's the first part of any of this that made sense to me. Although it is AI taking a job away from a person, AI is incredibly challenging. You know, we have to learn to adapt and grow, and use it to enhance. And being a Gen Xer. Well, I wasn't stopping for you, man, but okay. I'm gonna walk in front of my car. No, good, we can cooperate. I had a guy the other day, and he walked down the center of the alley the whole way. I don't know if he was just being strong on me, or I don't know. But, you know, as human beings, we can be pretty goofy. Here I am, I'm home. Okay, so I gotta go move the gate. I'm gonna leave you here. I hope you're having a good whatever. whatever you're doing. I'll talk